वैसे ही वो full screen share करेंगे, right? ना those.
Oh yes, yes.
And if there
I
is
have 2-3 documents that I'll be sharing time to
right,
time.
right.
Yeah,
And meanwhile, the Prajwal.
ready.
Okay. Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. Good afternoon, Principal Sir, Auti Ma'am, Tarun Sir, Media Club, and to all the students who are watching us live on YouTube. Students, we have come here with the eighth topic, which is IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. Sir would be highlighting upon diphthongs, monophthongs, vowels, consonant sounds, the British pronunciation. I'll not go into details because I'll ask him to go into the way he wants this to carry forward. So without wasting much of time, I would just request Principal Sir to share his presidential remarks. Please, sir. Sir, unmute yourself.
Yes, sorry, Bull Jabbe. Anyway, good afternoon to all and one and all. Special thanks to Dr. Tarun Patel, who has spared his valuable time for this lecture series, to be a part of this lecture series. And thanks to Dr. Srivastav, Auti Madam, Media Club, all students who have taken the pain to organize this lecture series. Today, the topic is regarding pronunciation, right? So I think this is what we are lagging. I will give an instant that when I joined my school, Central School, that is Senate School, Jamnagar in 6th standard, almost we were from Gujarati medium. We were not knowing except ABCD, nothing knowing about how to pronounce anything. So sometimes I think simple example I am giving, timetable, TIME, So one of my friends used to pronounce it time table. we now when we look back to those days, then we really we feel very much ashamed that we were not knowing how to even pronounce the simple meaning of a timetable, the word timetable. So even knife, I think sometimes we are confused in those days, KNIFE. So how to pronounce sometimes psychology spelling, that is a very typical which we generally get confused. Those who are not aware about this English communication language, how to sometimes the names are so tedious and lengthy. So how to pronounce those names, those words? I think that requires continuous practice, and we should listen to the such kind of talks or the web series, or let's say read various newspapers or listen to the people who are expert in such kind of things. I think if we listen to Shashi Tharoor, I will just give an example. He's totally the way he talks, I think, is totally a different one. So it's I think TEDx event. I just gone through YouTube channel a few days back. So it was a very much I think thrilling experience to listen to Shashi Tharoor, the person. I think he is a renowned personality. How he speaks and so fluently, and the words he used to pronounce, and that's wonderful. I think that kind of level, at least being a teacher, we should try to achieve within our professional career. This is what I feel. So I think this is a very, very important topic, how to pronounce the words, where we should give stress, where we should not give the stress, कहाँ उसको दबा के बोलना है, कहाँ lightly बोलना है, which word is to be, which letter is to be omitted. I think this is very, very important that everyone should learn. Students, I think, very lucky that they are getting such a important topic talk by Dr. Tarun Patel, who is a very well-known and expert in communication, language skill. So I think this talk will be of immense importance to my dear all students and the faculty, those who are joined today. And let's see, this continues for a long time. Just I had a talk with Honorable Vice Chancellor also. So he was very much happy to be to hear about all these talks that we are organizing at GEC level. Means we have wrapped up all GEC faculty. So GEC faculty can do wonders. So this is what I talked to faculty, our Honorable Vice Chancellor. So probably in if it materialized, then we'll be having a big FDP for faculty members, right? So be ready, Dr. Tarun Patel and Dr. Srivastav. I think you are the person, because I have given the names of all the faculty of government colleges. Already 8 names I have given. So 9, 10, and 11, probably 3 more are coming, if I am not wrong. So probably with the help of government college faculty, because we have got a very good resource and it is underutilized. So I want to get it utilized for our faculty. There is no need to call people from outside or from other university, or let's say from as a master trainer from corporate. I think we as a GEC, we can do wonders and we can make our faculty to be more strong in communication. So thank you, Dr. Tarun.
Thank you
And
very much, sir.
thanks, Dr. Srivastav, Avati Madam, Media Club, all faculty and the students who are joined today. This is live on YouTube. I think even those who are not in position to connect at present live, then they can go through the YouTube channel and they can hear and understand about the importance of this topic. So with this word, thank you once again on behalf of GC Bhavnagar. Thanks, Dr. Tarun Patel, for sparing your valuable time. And I hope in coming days at a larger scale, a state level, we'll be having some kind of training program for the faculty. And I need your wholehearted support.
Sure,
Thank you,
sir.
thank you very
Anytime.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, sir. If a leader is like you, definitely, we are going to follow the good trail of creativity. We had a talk, the moments that you said, I had a talk with Tarun, sir itself, that we are planning to organize an FDP, and he would be definitely a great help, as he has always been in my life. Avati ma'am, today's
Yes,
topic
sir.
and your words.
Warmly welcome you, Tarun Patel, sir. And in the long-awaited webinar session on International Phonetic Alphabet. And whenever we start teaching language skills to our students, the discussion always includes the 4 language skills. And whenever we discuss the current scenario of English teaching at the secondary school level also, I have always made my students realize that how speaking skill has been almost ignored at our school level. And mostly whenever the students happen to learn the new word, they believe that it is to learn the new spelling as well as to learn new meaning. But they never realize the importance of knowing the new words as the spelling, as the meaning, as well as the pronunciation also. As our respected sir pointed out, that how the students even twist the pronunciation in order to remember the spelling sometimes also. So in such situation, today's topic is really the pioneering for developing the students' speaking skills also. I heartily welcome you, and dear students, have a very enlightening session on IPA. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Tarun sir, it's all your show. Definitely, a brief has always already been done to the students. I've said them, your journey from, most of your journeys from Nature Bature to nature would be coming, and be prepared for a lovely thing. And I really, today itself, I was discussing to the classroom that I would salute the syllabus designers, because giving a touch of pronunciation to engineering field is definitely a must. Though it's just a tinge of touch, but it is must. But because we should know, at least we should have first-hand experience of how to read actually. If we teach them this phonetic alphabet, at least they would be able to read it properly, so that they would be able to pronounce it properly. It's all yours, sir. You are all live, and if there is any questions from the students, I would be the
Sure,
connecting
anytime.
link.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Himanshu and Nahuti ma'am, for inviting. Thank you very much, Vadodariya sir, for encouraging the environment, like that is
Thank you.
taking a shape at GEC Bhavnagar. And Himanshu keeps us, like updated with the way you help all the teachers. So thank you very much. Yes, I'll go ahead. Yes, Himanshu, is my PowerPoint visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. Yes, so my dear students, good afternoon. I am one of them, you only, like I have been a part of Bhavnagar for last 16, 17 years. I have worked there in Shantilal Shah Engineering College for 5 years, and I love to be there at any time when I have time. I'm free. I am there in Bhavnagar. So once again, I would thank Himanshu for connecting us. Today, we shall be talking about the IPA as Himanshu has planned. Before we get into the technicalities of IPA, I would brief you on what I plan to share today. We have this brief PowerPoint that we'll be looking into. After that, we have two more PDF resources, very valuable resources, like that we won't be able to recreate. So we shall be going through them together, right? That highlights the importance and technicalities of the IPA. After that, we will also be looking at certain online resources that you could utilize to improve your knowledge of the IPA, right? Because you must have tried your hand on transcription process, and it might have puzzled you sometimes, right? So I don't know whether Himanshu has shared, or Ahuti ma'am has shared these websites, but we will be working on those two websites together when it comes to transcription of the alphabets into IPA. Now, phonetics, as we know, is a branch of linguistics where the sounds and physical properties of human speech sounds are studied. So basically, we have those 26 alphabets in English, right? But as our respected principal sir was just pointing out, for example, the spelling of the word psychology, which begins with P, right? You might have observed that, like we say it tsunami, but the spelling begins with T. It's Tsunami, right? And there are thousands such words that exist. So we need a neutral solution that helps us to neutralize our pronunciation, which can be interpreted easily and understood by anyone across the world who knows our language. All right. So, as we see here, it's a branch of linguistics where we study sounds and the physical properties. When I say physical properties, I'm talking about the organs that are there inside our mouth. Right. For example, our tongue, our teeth, the different layers of our mouth, and most importantly, our lips that we use to pronounce different sounds. Uchchar karwa mate alag alag sounds no. And why do we need phonetics? That's another thing that we need to be focused on. And it says in today's generation, where communication plays an important role in every field, whether it is teaching, corporate, or education, we are most concerned with some of the soft skills which are here, right? Being very good at communication skills, being accurate, whether it is your mathematics or the language, your accent, most of the people who join the corporate world, or we call them multinationals, they are provided an accent neutralization training. Now, why is it? Again, it is because people from different corners of the world work in such companies, and the organizations want their employees to be communicating effectively with each other, right? And ultimately, as I'm saying, these three skills, communication, accuracy, and accent, which strongly, like I believe that they result into your self-confidence, right? When you know that you are good at a particular subject, you are going to feel good about it, right? So in the same manner, when we have multiple resources that are available at our fingertip that can help us improve our communication and ability to connect with people from different corners of the world, we really need to utilize those resources and give an edge to ourselves. You know, the competition is rising day by day, and we have to make space for ourselves. Now, how does phonetics help us? Number one, it helps you become a better speaker. It improves your fluency and accent, and as Himanshu was just pointing out, it helps you in inducing a reading habit. Phonetics helps you in decoding words and pronouncing it correctly. You must have observed those phonetic alphabets in parenthesis, whether it is the Oxford Dictionary or the Cambridge, whether it is online or the printed one, right? So it helps you decode and pronounce the words or phonemes in a correct manner. It reduces your mumbling and fumbling, and it also helps in boosting your confidence that I was just talking about. And according to a research in the UK, which was led by Madeline Grant, an educational psychologist, the studies showed that effectiveness of learning phonetics, right? The study included some 30 students who were introduced to a learning method of phonetics and the other 30 who followed the regular methods of learning. And here is the result. It says, after 3 years, results showed that children of the year 2 class of 7-year-olds were on average 28 months ahead of their chronological age for reading and confidence, and 21 months above their age when it comes to spelling. You must have heard of the word spell bee competition, right? So the ones who excel in such competitions are the ones, you know, like who have got some kind of formal training in phonetics. It also improves your fluency and accent. And as we know, fluency is, you know, like how accurately read or speak. Phonetics inculcates a skill of decoding a word and recognizing it with the sound, with which, you know, like practice improves the fluency as well as the accent. And according to another research, individuals with a perfect accent are more confident and have great convincing skills. It also helps in closing your deals in the best way, right? So this is the second advantage, and it does in fact help us in inducing a good reading habit. So when one reads correctly, it gives confidence, and automatically one is driven into that direction, right? If I ask how many of us have gone through all the parts of Harry Potter, right? I don't know how many. I mean, unfortunately, we are not having a two-way communication. Otherwise, I would have asked you to raise your hands, and I would be extremely happy, even if, you know, like just 10% of the total students would raise their hand that, yeah, I have read and enjoyed the Harry Potter series. All right. Here in quotation, research has shown that where children are born into a family where phonetics are taught, the culture of reading is already pleasurable, right? So reading takes you towards gaining knowledge. Moving on to another resource that I was just mentioning, the sound segments. Now, knowing a language basically includes knowing the sounds of that particular language, right? And phonetics, as we have just looked at, is the study of those speech sounds. We are able to segment a continuous stream. And everyone who knows a language knows how to segment sentences into words and words into sounds. Now, identity of speech sounds. Our linguistic knowledge basically allows us to ignore non-linguistic differences in speech, such as the individual pitch level, you know, like that varies from person to person, the rate of speed at which words are spoken, or coughing. Now, we are capable of making sounds, you know, like that are not speech sounds in English, but are in other languages, right? Similarly, identity of the speech sounds. These are the three. The science of phonetics aims to describe all the sounds of all world languages. They are acoustic phonetics, auditory, and articulatory phonetics. Now, the first one, acoustic, focuses on the physical properties of the sounds of language. The auditory one focuses on how listeners perceive the sounds of language. And Articulatory phonetics focuses on how the vocal tract produce the sounds of language. Now, physical properties refers to the, for example, the tools that you are using, right, to reach out the larger audience. The most important element in the process of communication, or entity in the process of communication, is your audience, right, the listeners. So this auditory phonetics, which is there to focus on how your listeners perceive the sounds and what you speak. And articulatory refers to the use of our mouth organs for producing the sounds. Now, the phonetic alphabet, spelling or orthography does not consistently represent the sounds of language, but some problems are there with certain ordinary spellings. See, for example, the same sound may be represented by many letters or combination of letters. For example, here we have HE, we say he. We have EO, that also represents E, right? Whether we say here, he, people, he, believe, sees, machine, Caesar, sees, see, or amoeba, right? It might confuse you, like આપણે amoeba ને ગુજરાતીમાં જ amoeba લખેલું હોય, ઘણા બધા લોકોને, મને પણ કદાચ spelling યાદ ના હોય, right? So then the same letter sometimes may represent a variety of sounds. Here we can see that the letter A has multiple association when it comes to the sounds. Now, father, F-A-T-H-E-R, we have A. Then we have second word, badly. So in the first word we have A. In the second word we have A. Third word we have A, many. We have fourth word, village, right? And we have made, M-A-D-E, made. So what happens is here, like the sound remains the same, though there are different combinations of letters, and though like there is same word, same letter, we are getting a variety of sounds. Similarly, a combination of letters also represents sometimes single sound, right? For example, we have shoot here, we have character, we have Thomas, we have either, right? In Thomas we have th for the, and in either we have th for the. Similarly, physics, then we have rough, right? So we have fur as in ph, and then though we have gh, we say fur, rough. And we have coat and dill. Similarly, a single letter also, like represents a combination, like Xerox, right? You might have, many people might have got confused whether it's Xerox or Xerox, right? So, K and S are combined. And some letters in a word may not be pronounced at all, like we call them silent letters, yeah? Autumn, sword, resign, right? Then we have lamb, we don't say lamb, right? We have course, we have psychology, as was mentioned twice. We have right, we don't say right. And similarly, not. And there may be no letter to represent the sound that occurs in a word. We have like cute, used. Now, the phonetic alphabet, coming down to what Dr. Himanshu has assigned us. It was in 1888 that the International Phonetic Alphabet was invented in order to have a system in which there was a one-to-one correspondence between each sound in language and each phonetic symbol. Someone who knows the IPA knows how to pronounce any word in any language. That's the magic. So, my advice to all the students listening to me would be not to look at phonetics as a part of your syllabus. Look at it as a part of your life that can change your life, that can help you be excellent in your communication skills. So look at phonetics that way. And, like though it does look scary, like when you encounter it for the first time, You start enjoying it when you do it, when you use it, right? So dialectal and individual differences affect pronunciation, but the sounds of English, right here, we have consonants and vowels. We are also going to get deeper into them, right? And you must have gone through all the consonants and vowels and diphthongs. So we are not going to look at them one by one right now. So these are the consonants and vowels that we use. Similarly, using the IPA, we can now represent the pronunciation of words like this, right? So here we have though, we have thought, we have rough, we have bow, right? And if by any chance, like if you are not aware of the pronunciation of the word bough, right? Because you may say it bog, right? Because when you compare rough and bough, it may become rough and buff, right? When you look at the phonetic transcription, then and then you realize that it is though, thought, rough, bow, through, and would, right? And that, like the letter L is not to be spoken. Similarly, the consonants and place of articulation. Consonants are sounds produced with some restriction or closure in your vocal tract. And consonants are classified part on, like where in the vocal tract the airflow is being restricted. For example, when you try to say fur, right? What you do is, like the airflow comes from your upper teeth ridge and the lower lip. So the major places of articulation here, you can read bilabial, labiodental, interdental, alveolar, palatal, velar, and glottal. So these are the places through which we articulate, right? And here I would be able to share an image, a detailed image, like this one is not clearly visible, unfortunately, but these are some of the area that helps us pronounce words, like our tongue, our upper layer of the mouth, our teeth ridge, and the lips, plus the pharynx. Moving on, here we have this place of articulation defined, right? For bilabials, labiodentals, interdentals. Fine. So when you say per, right, we use two lips and then suddenly we open them. Burr, when you say mer, when you say pack, when you say back, when you say man or mango or mother, right, we use two lips together, right? So these are the bilabial sounds are the ones that are produced by bringing both the lips together. Labiodental, right, wherein we have the bottom lip, and as I was just talking about producing fur, right? So the upper teeth and your lower lip are touching each other to produce the labiodentals, which are fur, as in friction or fiction or fashion, or ver, as in vassal or van, right? So bilabials, labiodentals, then we have the interdentals, wherein we have th and the, which are produced by putting the tip of the tongue between the teeth, right? So when you say th, or when you say the, your tip of the tongue is touching the upper teeth ridge, inside of the upper teeth ridge, and that's how we produce the interdentals, th and the. You can try speaking and you will enjoy and you will realize too. Then the consonants wherein we have the alveolars like t, d, n, s, z, l, and r. Now, all of these are produced by raising the tongue to the alveolar ridge in some or the other way. For example, we have t, d, and n. They are produced by the tip of the tongue touching the alveolar ridge, right? The upper layer of your mouth. Similarly, the sounds s and z are produced with the sides of the front of the tongue raised but the tip lowered to allow the air to escape. When you say s and z, you realize that air is coming out fast when we say s and z. Similarly, when we say l, the tongue tip is raised while the rest of the tongue remains down so air can escape over the sides of the tongue. And that's how lateral sounds, right? And the r sound is one wherein the air escapes through the central part of the mouth, r, right? Where your tongue is in the resting position. So either the tip of the tongue is curled back behind the alveolar ridge or the top of the tongue is bunched up behind the alveolar ridge. Similarly, the palatals like sh, zh, ch, j, y are produced by raising the front part of the tongue to the palate, right? As in sh, zh, and the velars like k, g, and ang are produced by raising the back of the tongue to the soft palate, right? The insert behind of the palate is called the soft palate, wherein we say k, g, or ang. The inside part of the tongue touches the soft layer, and that's how we produce the word kite or king. All right, and uvulars are r, k, g are produced by raising the back of the tongue to the uvula r, and the glottals, that's her, produced by restricting the airflow through the open glottis, as in hero, right? We don't say hero. So, or by stopping the air completely at the glottis, glottal stop, we call it, right? Now, the manner of articulation is the way the air is affected as it flows from lungs and out of the mouth and the nose. Now, the voiceless sounds are those produced with the vocal cords apart the glottis, and the voice sounds are those produced when the vocal cords are together and vibrate as their air passes through. So, voice and voiceless. Now, the voiced and voiceless distinction is important in English because it helps us distinguish words like rope and rope, fine and wine, seal and zeal, right? So you can see the phonetic transcription for all the words, right? But there are certain voiceless sounds, like that can be further distinguished as aspirated or unaspirated, like pull, tell. Similarly, we have pull, still, and skull. Now, oral sounds are the ones that are produced with the velum raised to prevent air through escaping out the nose. And the nasal sounds are those produced with the velum lowered to allow air escape from the nose. So far, we have 3 ways of classifying sound based on phonetic features: by voicing, by place of articulation, and by nasalization. So, for example, p is a voiceless bilabial oral sound, and no, like when you say try to say no, you realize that there is some pressure over inside the nasal part of your mouth, right? So N is alveolar as well as nasal sound. When you say no, and that's how, saying no is a bit difficult for human body too. When you say no, you have to spend a bit more calories as compared to saying simple yes. Now, consonants, manner of articulation stops like p, b, m, t, d, k, n, g, 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 sh, j are produced by completely stopping the airflow in the oral cavity for a fraction of a second. When you say p, b, m, t, d, n, k, and so on. And all other sounds are continuous, meaning that the airflow is continuous through the oral cavity. Like, and they are called the fricatives. Like we have f, we have v, we have th, we have the, we have s, z, sh, ps, h, right? Wherein we don't restrict the airflow and it continues to move. And they are produced by severely obstructing the airflow so as to cause friction. Similarly, the affricates, sh and j, are produced by a stop closure that is released with a lot of friction. Sh, ch, sh, j. Similarly, liquids like L and R are produced by causing some obstruction of the airstream in the mouth, but not enough to cause any real friction. And the glides like Y and V produced with very little obstruction of the airstream and are always followed by a vowel. Similarly, approximatants, like here, sometimes the liquids and glides are put together into one category because the articulators approximate a frictional closeness, but they do not actually cause friction. And trills and flaps and trills are produced by rapidly vibrating an articulator, and flaps are produced by a flick of the tongue against the alveolar region. Clicks produced by moving air in the mouth between various articulators. The disapproving sound in English is a consonant in Zulu and some other southern African languages. The lateral click used to encourage a horse in English is a consonant ZOS. Okay. Now, vowels are again, like classified by how high or low the tongue is, and if the tongue is in the front or back of the mouth, and whether or not the lips are rounded. Like so that we have the high vowels, we have e, u, and u. We have mid vowels like r, o, o, and low vowels as in a and a. Similarly, the front, back, and central vowels. Fine. Moving on, the tense vowels are produced with greater tension in the tongue, and that may occur at the end of words, as in beat, bait, boot, boat, ha, high, and how. On the other hand, lax vowels are produced with less tongue tension, and they may not occur at end of words like bit, bet, put, boy, boy, hat, hut, and about. Fine. So these are the vowels, the high and low, tense and lax. And this is fine, major phonetic classes. All right. Now, one more resource that we would be getting deeper into. Here is a wonderful guide to pronunciation that we shall be looking together. Not everything, so don't worry. But the most important parts of this document are worth going through. So as it says, pronunciation is not an intrinsic component of the dictionary. For some languages, such as Spanish, Swahili, and Finnish, the correspondence between orthography and pronunciation is so close that a dictionary need only spell a word correctly to indicate its pronunciation. Modern English, however, displays no such consistency in sounds and spelling. And so, a dictionary of English must devote considerable attention to the pronunciation of the language. right? So this is the height when it comes to highlighting the importance of clear pronunciation. And the English lexicon contains numerous I rhymes such as love, move, and row words which do not sound like despite their similar spellings. On the other hand, it also contains rhyming words such as breeze and cheese and ease and freeze and sleaze, right? So those rhymes are all spelled differently. Fine. And this is the like grand mismatch between the words that look alike and words that sound alike does at least serve to record something of the history of English speaking people and their language. Moving on to our IPA, starting with O, as in mat, map, mad, gag, snap, and patch, right? Wherein we have this symbol which like looks like the pi of mathematics. Some variation in this vowel is occasioned by the consonant that follows it. Thus, for some speakers, map, mad, and gag have noticeably different vowel sounds, and there is a very small number of words otherwise identical in pronunciation that these speakers may distinguish solely by variation of this vowel, right? For example, in the sentence, let's can what we can. Let's can what we can. However, this distinction is like sufficiently infrequent that the traditional practice of using a single symbol is followed in the further parts of this book. And many varieties of English do not allow a to be followed by an r, which begins the following syllable. In such a case, the sequence r is replaced by e and r, right? And word pairs like arrow and arrow are homophones. This is not always indicated in transaction. The reader should assume that like this r. Similarly, o, as in day, fade, date, rota, and drape, and cape, where we have the phonetic transcription stands like this, right? So we have a, and a. And in most English speech, this is actually a diphthong, right? When you say day, or when you say fair, or when you say make, right? We are using a combination of a and e. And so this is diphthong. Moving on, o, as in bother and coat. So o, the symbol represents the vowel of caught and cord and stressed vowel of collar in speech of these who pronounce this vowel differently from the vowel in caught. All right. Then other one, a, as in bet, bed, pack. So here is the IPA, right? You might also be writing it into the lower case alphabets, and in like different parts of the world dialect, this vowel before nasal consonant often has a raised articulation that approximates E. So that pen has nearly the pronunciation of pin. Then as in bear, fair, where, derriere, millionaire, right? So and the initial elements of this diphthong may vary from a to a. The next one, the consonant f, as in 50, and cuff, where the IPA symbol is as it looks here, f. G, as in go, big, and gift, where we have this IPA, and h, as in hat, hair. Same one. Moving a bit on, H and W, as in well, as in well, as pronounced by those who do not have the same pronunciation for WHALE and WAIL, right? So it's well, and like we can also add WELL. So well, welcome, well, and whale, right? And we, like once we distinguish it, right, we would be able to make sure to speak them in a distinctive manner for the sake of the people who are going to listen to us. Similarly, as in E, as in tip or banish or active, wherein some speakers pronounce A and E identically before L, right? With the result that word pairs like hill and hill are homophones. And the sound pronounced in such cases may be either A or E as pronounced by those who distinguish the two. Similarly, E and R, ear. So it says in near, dear, mere, peer, souvenir, right? So it's the phonetic or IPA is E and O. And the initial element of this diphthong may vary from A to E. And E as in sight, side, by, try. Actually, this sound is a diphthong and usually composed of I in the southern speech, right? J as in job, jam, edge, join, and judge, right? So the and j, that's like D3 as we read the J, wherein whether we have judge or join or jingle. So assuming the like anglicization of gender, the distinction between the sentences, they betray John Dark and they betrayed Jean Dark, is maintained by a difference in the syllabification of the d and j in each case. Same as in kin, cook, and ache. So for that we have the symbol k as in k. Similarly, l as in lily or pull, we have the symbol m as in murmur, dim, nim, right? In pronunciation, variants of some words such as open and happen, right, is a syllabic consonant, right? So we use m. And as a nasal sound, we have n as in no or on. In words such as cotton or sudden, the n is syllabic consonant. Fine. As in, like this one is quite important. As in sing, right? This is how we transcribe sing, or this is how to transcribe the word singer or finger or ing, right? So the IPA for this one is this, ang. And in some rare context, may be a syllabic consonant, which you students do not have to get into the detail of. Similarly, paw as in pepper and lip, and r as in red, rarity. Now, what is transcribed here as r is, like really, in reality, represents several distinct sounds. Now, before a stressed vowel, r denotes a continuum produced with the tongue tip slightly behind the teeth region. And this sound is usually voiceless when it follows a voiceless stop, as in pray or tree or cram. All right. Similarly, sir as like source or less, we have the symbol S that represents the sound so. And sure as in shy or mission or machine or spatial, we have this long S. And actually this is a single sound and not two. When the two sounds so and her occur in sequence, they are separated by a hyphen in the resources that we may get to refer. All right. So sure. Similarly, ter as in tie, attack, late, later, latter, right? So where we have the IPA, ter. In some contexts, as when a stressed or unstressed vowel precedes and an unstressed vowel l follows, the sound represented by ter or double T, like is pronounced in most American speech as voice flap produced by the tongue tip tipping the teeth ridge. And as in th, we have the transcription theta, and for the we have this one. So th as in we have thin or ether, and if we have the word either, then it is going to be put in this category, right? Now when we talk of th, actually this is a single sound and we don't have two sounds, right? So it is th. And the same with the, it is also a single sound. Similarly, the long u as in rule or youth, you or union, right? Few, as an unstressed vowel before another vowel, u is often pronounced as a schwa with slight lip rounding, what is separated from the following vowel by the glide, like v. And u as in pull, wood, and book. Some speakers pronounce u and u identically. The way, like we find it difficult to pronounce gh, g, and g, g and g. Right. So identically before l, with the result that word pairs like pull and pull are homophones. Right. So we have to be careful. Similarly, v as in vivid, w as in v of way. This is the symbol for it. For year, we have this J symbol that you must have recorded in your minds as in yard, young, and Q, right? Or curable, or few, or fury, or union. The sequence, this you in the same syllable as in lewd, suit, and presume are common in southern British speech but are rare in American, right? See, why I'm mentioning the American pronunciation so frequently is the American English has been with us and is going to be with us, right? Though we are talking of global English, though we are talking about the Indian English, right? We have to make sure that we are with the world. And as we could see different innovations coming from that side, and the simplicity also, like makes it one of the user-friendly language, right? For example, if we have any computer or IT students, they dream of working in Google and Microsoft, right? And though, the companies like Google have their presence across the globe, all people who work with Google are connected with one tool, and that's American English, right? So similarly, and zone, raise, and je as in azure or vision. So now actually again, like this is also a single sound and we need to be careful. This I'm going to share with Himanshu sir so that he can share it with all the students and you guys can refer to it. Now, yes, exercise is one of the most important thing that you could do to grow your knowledge of phonetics. And like in a situation like this, the technology has turned out to be our best friend, right? And like the internet is like you imagine and you do it. You think of doing it and you would be able to do it. You think of a payment or app, payment gateway app, you think of it and you can do it. All right. So similarly, we also have certain applications that we can use in our phones as well. For example, this one, You can just have a look at it. This is an app available on both Play Store and the Apple. Right. So you go to Play Store and you type this sounds right, right? Google. Yeah. So this is an app that's been developed by British Council, and it gives you an in-depth coverage of all the sounds of the IPA, right?
Students, please concentrate on this very app
Yeah.
minutely, because sir has come up with a very nice app that we all are. We are a generation of using apps and all. So please have a look again. Sir, can you please repeat it once again so that you know?
Oh yeah. So like you go to your Play Store and just type sounds right, SOUNDSRIGHT, sounds right, and you would be able to install it, right? See, as you can see, all the IPA symbols over here, right? Your vowels, your diphthongs, and your consonants. You just need to touch the for example, to find out what is the how should you pronounce p or f or t, or like if since you all would be beginner, you might forget, like, okay, what does it look like, what is this, right, what is this, right? Or you may mistake while observing the year sound, which is like they have trickily selected J for representing your sound in the IPA, right? So you can install it and use it. Similarly, we have another beautiful resource. This is a website called Phonetics. Now, this tool basically allows you to transcribe the words into IPA. Like, for example, I am writing a couple of words over here: grammar, mouse, bike, and college. All right. Sorry, grammar. Yeah. So these are the 5 words, and then you click on show transcription. Right. And here you are. You have Twitter, you have grammar, you have mouse, right? You have bike, and you have college. You click on this and you would be able to hear the pronunciation as well. Similarly, in certain tricky words, like if you want to differentiate between the American and the British pronunciation, you click on American over here and you will be able to get the American ways of transcription. Usually it would remain the same, not much difference you would be able to find. All right. So this tool will definitely help you, improve your knowledge and practice of the phonetics. Similarly, you also use this website in English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, this too, I don't know. All right. And try to, try it out in different languages, right? Knowing more than 2 languages or 3 languages has been with us since we are Indians. All of us know at least Hindi, English, and Gujarati, or any local dialect, right? But it would be fun learning one more. All right. Similarly, here we have this AustralianLinguistics.com, where you would be able to, guess and find out the phonetic transcription for different words, right? So here we have this phonetic transcription exercises. Like we have this word far. You try to write it down first and then click on show answer and check whether, oh, you are right or not. Similarly, we have smoke, right? We have them, we have boy, and so many. There are many words that you would be able to find, including some of the theories of the phonetics, like speech sounds and consonants and cardinal vowels, and like those are not of much use to you, but you should be able to utilize this part, right? Similarly, the English-de is another website wherein like you would be able to check the transcription for different words in various categories. Like here we have animals and characters and clothes and colors and families and fruits and exercises and numbers and so many. So like if we just click on fruit, for example, then yeah, so you have to write. Now what is this? This is pear, cherry, right? We have grape, we have peach, right? We have grapefruit, we have an apple, we have plum, we have strawberry, right? So you just need to find out the
Students try to attempt this into comment box. We can pause it. We can pause it here, sir, for a while.
Oh yeah.
Students, please, the first four. We can go for this first four. Try this into the comment box. I'll be reading it on your behalf. The phonetic transcription is already been written. You need to just say, sir started also. Two already sir has said. So I just want you to quickly mention. The first one is pair.
Yeah, true. Good. Then
Very nice, very nice. Second, chalo, jaldi. Come on, students.
I would love if anybody finds out the third one.
Orange.
Yeah. It's orange.
Correct. Kya baat hai? Cherry. Tisha said
Excellent.
cherry.
Yeah. Great.
Very nice. Fourth one is grape.
Yes.
Wow.
Similarly, like you would also
That's
be
it.
able
Okay.
to
So
find.
this was a nice exercise. Sir, please continue.
Oh yeah. Like similarly, we have over here sister and brother and cousin and aunt, father, mother, daughter, niece, nephew, and uncle, right? So you can just go to this resource, like English-de. I'll share it with Himanshu as well so that he can reach out to you. And like with all the fun, you would be able to improve your grip over the phonetic transcription. And believe me, like do not just look at it as phonetic transcription process. Look at it as a way to be fluent. And like Himanshu and I have been working together, not physically definitely, but we have been working together for almost 16 years now, right? And he, in fact, in the beginning of his career, he started playing music in the classroom, where he used to make people guess what the words were of those English songs. And it was fun, like the students would not be able to catch a single word at the first attempt, and by the fifth time they listened to the song, they would be able to transcribe, like write down the whole script. So this is another way you guys can carry on with your own learning. And maybe like it does not require hours work to get a good grip over the IPA. It's just like keeping your mind open to observe and learn the words that you notice. So that's all for now. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Very nice. Purani yadeं taza ho gayi. I mean, we were working into career development center students, and we used to develop modules every time to enhance the soft skills of the students across CV. I mean, in fact, we were doing outsourcing also. We used to remember, every Saturday, Sunday, or after 15 days, we had to come up with new modules. I remember this. He was talking about song module. We called it out.
Yeah.
We came up with the songs, so that we wanted actually to cultivate and inculcate that basic character itself. you live into the rhythm of English so that you understand it. It's not about a particular group of words that you should know for a profession. When we go up for English, we actually want to develop an overall personality, the words that you use normally into day-to-day life. And I hope students that he has, Tarun sir has given the best of the websites, and a lot of, it was a pitara full of so many applications as he always comes up with. So I was excited that he would be definitely coming up something for everyone. This is what I normally name his way of teaching. Sir, we enjoyed. Sir, platform पे बोल रहा हूँ. We enjoyed Tarun a lot, and students, those students who have not watched, they would be watching it later on. And if there is any question, probably I'll be
definitely
posting it to you.
Anytime.
Ahuti ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Tarun sir. And as I was listening to your lecture also, it just gave me nostalgic feeling because when I just after completing my post graduation, when I stood first time as a teacher in the classroom to my students, and since then phonetics has always remained my passion. Thanks a lot again, sir, for your very enlightening session for our students also. It was a very minute knowledge you have given, and even the words that were selected really very relevant one for our students. Hope the session would be beneficial for all the students to develop your speaking skills.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Tarun, there are certain comments that I would be reading it because they are live comments. They would be wiping it out.
Oh.
Sir, it was really a helpful session in our life. Thanks a bunch. Really amazing. The media cell says, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge and time with us. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This was an amazing lecture, sir. Must watching lecture. Cranberry. अभी भी कुछ लोग अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं जिनको बस Zoom है, screenshot है. Cranberry and all people are attempting. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. Thanks for a wonderful session. It is really one of the best days of my life. क्या बात है. Thank you, sir, for this informative session. Right. यार हम आएंगे तो बेस्ट ही होगा लाइफ में. The session was very fruitful. We appreciate. Thank you, sir.
All right.
These are certain closing remarks for my students.
It was fun being with Ahuti ma'am and you too.
Thank you. And we'll call it a day. Thanks a lot.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.
Students, we'll call it a day. Thank you.